Similar strikes on the Russian capital could stop the attacks on Ukrainian cities carried out by the Russian army. Ukrainian Army Reserve Colonel and pilot instructor Roman Svitan told the Fabrika Novin news agency. In particular, he was asked how to counter attacks on populated areas of Ukraine which we do not have sufficient resources to repel. According to Svitan, the first is cooperation with European countries, for example, with France and Great Britain. According to him, the deployment of appropriate forces in western Ukraine would allow us to move some of our air defense systems to the east. For example, the French can cover from the Romanian side. The British, aviation, can cover the western part from the Polish side, even basing themselves at Polish airfields, the expert believes. Ukraine also needs the appropriate systems to destroy ballistic targets, Patriot and SAMP-T. The second option that needs to be used is mirror strikes. Moreover, the optimal option for us is strikes on Moscow. 500 kilometers to Moscow, almost all the means of destruction that we have, drones, missiles, go 500 kilometers without problems. That is, hundreds of our drones, our long-range weapons, can approach Moscow. The question is making decisions on strikes on military facilities in Moscow, Svitan said. According to him, about 30% of all military high-tech production facilities are located in Moscow and the Moscow region. Svitan is confident that the second option, mirror strikes, is more effective and faster, as this would clearly show how missiles and drones fall on the heads of the population. At the same time, the expert emphasizes that it is necessary to aim exclusively at military facilities. Now, if after today's strike on Kyiv, tonight 200 to 300 drones and missiles had gone to Moscow, believe me, there would not have been any more strikes on Kyiv. Now shoot down 300 drones over Moscow. Can you imagine what will happen? All this will be on the heads of Muscovites, the same as we have. We need to aim at military facilities, and how the Russians' POV works is not our problem. Mirror responses are the only mechanism for stopping strikes on our cities. He added that the ZSU should also strike certain specialized enterprises of the Russian Federation, in particular burning hydrocarbons. Roman Svitan stated that the Russian Federation has established a powerful production of missiles and has their corresponding reserves. In 3 years, they have reached the production of a large number of missiles 24/7. More than 100 units are manufactured monthly. According to the expert, the Russian army is constantly preparing to strike, depending on the task at hand. And the missile attack that Kiev was subjected to today was probably prepared 2 to 3 weeks ago. In 2024, Ukraine destroyed the 23rd, 67th and 107th arsenals of the main Missile and Artillery Directorate GRAU of the Russian Defense Ministry, and on April the 22nd of this year, the 51st GRAU arsenal was destroyed in the Vladimir region. Defense Express experts explained why these facilities are important and how many more such Russian arsenals are in the zone of destruction of the Ukrainian armed forces. Experts explain that GRAU arsenals are separate military units that store strategic ammunition reserves, from which they are then distributed to smaller warehouses. Therefore, in the structure of ammunition distribution, they are important logistics hubs. In addition, repair, maintenance and restoration of all ammunition is carried out there. Missiles, rockets, artillery shells, mortar mines and the like. That is, their significance is much greater than a simple storage place. It is a rather complex, they explain. Defense Express notes that there are relatively few such facilities in the Russian Federation. If we take the known GRAU arsenals where ammunition is stored in the zone of possible destruction of Ukrainian long-range weapons, then we are talking about 11 objects with such a status. Experts note, recalling that Ukraine has already destroyed 4 objects. At the same time, experts note that after the attacks in the fall of 2024, Russian troops reduced the activity of using artillery by half, from 40,000 rounds of various types of ammunition per day to 23,000. Also regarding the strike on the 51st GRU arsenal, it is noted that the exact amount of ammunition that was stored there at the time of the explosion is still unknown. The declared design capacity of this facility is up to 264,000 tons, while a Russian media report from 2009 cited a figure of 105,000 tons. However, the real scale of the explosions may become known in the coming days thanks to satellite images, experts note. As reported on April the 22nd, ammunition detonated at the 51st Arsenal of the Main Missile and Artillery Directorate of the Russian Ministry of Defense due to a violation of safety regulations. Subsequently, the National Security and Defense Council reported that Russia stored significant stockpiles of artillery shells, missiles of various types, including Iskander, Tochka-U, Kinzhal, ammunition for the Pantsir S-1, S-300, S-400 systems, as well as Grad, Smersh and Uragan at this warehouse. The arsenal is located east of Moscow and 530 kilometers from the border with Ukraine. Its approximate area is 3.5 square kilometers. In total, the 51st Arsenal of the Main Missile and Artillery Directorate has 45 separate storage facilities and 30 ammunition storage sites.
Two people from Central Asia were preparing a terrorist attack at one of the petrochemical plants in the Nizhny Novgorod region on the orders of a Ukrainian curator. The saboteurs have been neutralized, the FSB Public Relations Center reported. Footage of the operation has been released. According to the agency, foreigners who share the views of an international terrorist organization banned in the Russian Federation planned to attack one of the petrochemical plants using FPV drones with improvised explosive devices. On the instructions of the Ukrainian curator, they seized the drones from the cache. During the arrest, they offered armed resistance and were neutralized by return fire. 2 UAVs with foreign-made explosive warheads, a Kalashnikov assault rifle and a Makarov pistol were seized at the scene. Correspondence with the curator was found in the migrants' phones, as well as the coordinates of a cache of weapons and firearms. A criminal case has been opened on preparations for sabotage. Recall, incidents of harassment and violence against Central Asians in Russia continue to increase in the wake of the March 22 terrorist attack at Moscow's Crocus City Hall. Russian authorities arrested 4 ethnic Tajiks and charged them with carrying out the attack that left more than 140 people dead. At least 13 other people have been detained in connection with the terrorist act, 11 of whom are also ethnic Tajiks.